Hey everybody, it's Casey Scott, your Utah native, born and bred right here in the great state of Utah, which is very apropos because today we're talking about all things in Utah. And I'd like to bring in my good friend Pete Codella. How are you, sir?
Doing well, Casey. Thank you.
So let's tell everybody a little bit about in Utah, why, where, how, all the good stuff a journalist should ask you.
In Utah is an initiative requested by our legislature to help us during this pandemic kind of reactivate Utah's economy. So they asked my office, the governor's office of economic development, I'm the communications director there, to come up with a way that we can reinforce and support Utah's economy at this challenging time. Initially, a lot of us just kind of stayed home. Hopefully, most of us work from home. and
Mhm.
and we know there was a lot less travel, a lot less eating out, all those things. So we are working with an agency called Rumor Advertising in Salt Lake City to help talk about the things you can do and the experiences that you can have in Utah, of course, in a safe way.
In a former lifetime, one of my jobs was to experience all things that Utah has to offer. From St. George to Zion to Moab, all the way up to the Caribbean of Utah, which would be Bear Lake. We've got so much stuff for people to come and enjoy. And I'm often surprised about how people who've lived in this state their whole life have never been out to venture in their own backyard. And that's kind of what we're encouraging them to do right now, right?
It's true. To travel and play in Utah, we can jump in a car with our family or friends and go to a nearby location that maybe we haven't visited. We have over 40 state parks. We've got 5 national parks. We've got, like you said, really diverse geography from the southern to the northern part of the state. Some awesome things to see.
Now, if I understand my notes right, all the national parks are open right now, and most of the services are being provided, so you can go and check those out. And the state parks are the same way. But I mean, this is a great time to go and check it out. Normally, the fall and the summer is when the rest of the world comes here and experience Utah. Right now, we can go there, have the 6 foot distancing, and open up and see everything that this state has to offer.
It is a great time to be in the great outdoors, and Utah is unique, like I said, because you've got those red rocks and you've got mountain scenes, you've got lakes, you've got all the awesome stuff to go see. Antelope Island is fun. I've heard friends out on the Alpine Loop recently, and
Mhm.
that has been bumper to bumper cars, but beautiful. So there's a lot of fun things to see here.
And then we want to go from one end to the other. We've got the Bonneville Salt Flats, which is a wonder of the world, and land speed races are broken there all the time. And then you want to go to the other side, we can go check out Moab and just see all that beautiful red rock down there. I mean, really, Utah is a unique state, and that's why we want to celebrate and show everybody all the great things to do. So we want to talk about stay in Utah, which we just did. They've got 34 million acres of public land, the 5 national parks, and you want to talk about separating and social distancing. There's no better place than to do it in the outdoors. Am I right?
Yeah, the great outdoors, and it's a good escape. Some of us feel a little extra stressed these days.
We call
Um,
it cabin fever.
yeah, that's right. And some of us are working from home, and we've got kids, and all under one roof. So it's great to get out and see all there is in Utah that's available for us.
And speaking of Utah, the world comes here to recreate. We've got 15 ski resorts, more hiking trails than I could even count. And so all of this is just begging for people to come out and use them. And you've also got great biking trails as well.
We do. Our Office of Outdoor Recreation, which is here in our Office of Economic Development, has done a lot the past few years with grants and money that has helped to build and rebuild infrastructure for outdoor recreation, including some of those biking trails and things that you've talked about.
And I want you guys to look into, and I'm not talking to you, Pete, because you probably know this, but there's some amazing deals right now on the ski resorts for 5th and 6th graders. I've got one, and it was a great way to get out and see all the ski resorts and get them interested in a sport that they can do for the rest of their lives.
And also, Casey, there are deals for Shop in Utah. It was a program that we used some federal CARES Act money to provide companies who had a reduction in revenues from COVID-19 with some grant money. All they had to do is say, we lost this much revenue, and so we'd like a grant of this much money. Say it's 50,000, and they had to promise to give 25,000 of that back to the customers, back to Utahns in the form of a coupon. So it's kind of like a buy one get one. A lot of companies and organizations are offering that Shop in Utah discount right now, and you can see all those groups that are offering those offers on the business.utah.gov website.
All right, because Utah's favorite F word is free. And so if they could go check out more of that, that's a great place to do it. But I got a number here, a statistic that people might find interesting, because right now everybody wants to support local. Everybody wants to help out their neighbor, their friends, their buddies, and their friends. 68% of every dollar spent in Utah stays in Utah. Tell me a little bit more about that.
If you think about it, when we shop locally, when we support those restaurants or those small businesses here in Utah, we're supporting the people who work there and who own those businesses. So keeping our dollars spent here in Utah helps support Utah businesses and Utah families. It's really a great way that we can kind of show our solidarity, show our patriotism, support our neighbors who, some of them are in businesses that are really struggling. Some restaurants and our tourism and hospitality industries have been hit fairly hard. So when we choose, and sometimes it's a little more difficult, right, to get in your car and go somewhere and put on a mask and purchase something as opposed to clicking on Amazon.
Right.
But that really helps our economy. It keeps that money in the state.
Pete, you brought it up, so let's talk about it. Dine in Utah. Utah restaurants are open for business, and they need local support. Utahns can share their favorite local dining experience. We haven't mentioned this yet, but all of this can be relayed back to hashtag in Utah. That's what we want to do. We want to show the world what it's like to live in Utah, because it is life elevated, a pretty great state, and it's awesome.
And social media is awesome because all of us can participate, right? Like you said, we put that hashtag in Utah on our content, and we've got a website for this initiative, which you would guess is inutah.org. And on that site, there's a whole section for curated content from people who share on Facebook or Instagram or wherever about their experiences in Utah. So you just hashtag what you're doing within Utah, and you could see it on our site.
I love that. And we want to tell everybody that while navigating the COVID-19 world is a little bit crazy, we can get out and enjoy the state. Most places are doing curbside pickup, expanded delivery options, but a lot of restaurants have adapted a way to get you in, socially distance you, and maybe give you a break from the house, from the kids, a special night out. And we've got some of the best restaurants in the country right here in Utah.
You're right. Our restaurants and those entrepreneurs have really kind of innovated and adapted at this time. There's curbside, there's order ahead, there's all sorts of ways that you can get food. And then, like you said, you can go in, you can wear a mask, you can get a table, you'll be distanced from others. You can also pick that food up and go eat outside somewhere. I mean, there are a lot of fun things that we can do that maybe we haven't tried before, and different kinds of food. But it is great to dine in Utah and support those business owners.
Now, last thing I want to talk to you about is a new program that you guys have kind of initiated as a way to give back, and that's the Learn and Work in Utah. Tell me a little bit about this.
Learn and Work in Utah is another initiative with federal CARES Act money, where our Talent Ready Utah Center has partnered with USHE, the Utah System of Higher Education, to create programs that help people who may be unemployed or underemployed so that they can reskill and they can learn something new, a new trade. They can get that education in most instances for free at local technical colleges and universities who are participating in the program. So all those participating institutions are outlined on inutah.org. There's a page for Learn and Work, and you can go through and see which colleges or universities or technical colleges are participating in the program. So if you happen to be in a job or working for a business that really has struggled the past few months, this is something that you could do, have almost all of it paid for except maybe a few fees, and learn something new and have an opportunity to really get a step up and do something that you've always wanted to do.
I'm thinking of something in computers, coding, or something like that. Those skills are in high demand right now. Anything in the front line, health, and all that stuff. And this would be a great way to have it paid for and learn a new skill and a trait and maybe take your life in a different direction.
Exactly. And most of the programs are online, so it's stuff that you can do, in your spare time. And it really helps you learn that skill, get that certification, and find new opportunities.
All right, Pete, I love that. But what about Healthy in Utah? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Healthy in Utah is part of our initiative to help address the things we need to do during the pandemic, which include all the things you've heard, wearing a mask and physical distancing, staying home if you're sick, but also include doing the things that Utahns did before this pandemic ever came around that kept us healthy. We're known for our high quality of life and for our high level of health and well-being in the state. So doctor's visits and prescriptions and staying active. So those things are just as important with Healthy in Utah. We've got a new initiative as part of that to remind people that it's flu season. The flu shot is important. It's another upper respiratory illness, and we don't want to overwhelm our healthcare providers any more than COVID-19 is already causing challenges there. So getting a simple flu shot is something all of us can do to help protect ourselves, protect our families, our workplaces, and the whole community. So being healthy in Utah is just as important to support all this economic reactivation that we want to do, because without a healthy citizenry, we can't go out and do all those things like shop and dine and play and work and stay in Utah.
Yeah, that's right. A little prevention will go a long, long way. So it sounds like, to wrap it up, what we want to do is help all of our Utahns, and we can do it in a bunch of different ways. One, by getting healthy in Utah, making sure that we're doing the best we can to protect our loved ones, ourselves, and our community. Learn and work in Utah, where right now there's ways to go get some free education and maybe steer your life in a new direction. And of course, the ones we've talked about: stay in Utah, play in Utah, dine in Utah, and shop in Utah. And we always want you to use the hashtag in Utah when you're out enjoying any of these things. And you can find out all this information and so much more by going to the website, which is
inutah.org.
All right, before I let you go real quick, do you have a Halloween costume?
I usually wear a t-shirt with a skull on the front of it.
Now, if you take a screenshot of what you're showing me right now, you look like an airline pilot for Delta, which is home base right here in Utah. So we love them as well. If you could just give me a Roger, Roger, I'll give you an over-under.
Roger, Roger.
Over-under in Utah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.